Hi everyone, hope you can hear me okay.
Yeah, can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you as well, mate. Good.
Cool. Should we kick off or?
Yes, mate.
Yeah. All right. Hello everyone. Welcome to today's session. My name is Ali Mullah Hosseini. I am the technical writer here at SpecFlow, and I've got with me Jordan Weston, our user support engineer. Today's topic is, as you can see, big bright purple there, SpecFlowActions, Selenium. We will explain what that SpecFlowActions are for those of you who are not familiar with it. But before we kick off, let's take a look at some quick notes before we go in. Please use the Q&A tool on Zoom for questions. Don't post any questions in chat because it's hard to moderate for me. When questions are relevant to what Jordan is showing on the screen, I will try to stop him and ask him the question. Otherwise, we will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So we will try our best to answer all the questions. There will be two polls in this webinar, one at the start, one at the end. I think we will start with the first poll. It's going to be a very relatively simple one. Is that the first poll? Yep, there it is. All right, cool. So I just launched the first poll. Have you used Selenium before? And have you heard about SpecFlowActions? Just a yes and no. So we get a good idea of everyone's knowledge here. Just give it a minute. We've got more participants joining in, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool.
So it looks like not everyone is familiar with SpecFlowActions. So Jordan, I'm going to ask you to start with just giving us a quick introduction of what SpecFlowActions are. And then, well, most of the participants know what Selenium is, so that's good.
That's good, yeah.
I'll end the poll and I'll hand it over to you, Jordan. Just, yeah, tell us what SpecFlowActions are and what we're going to cover today in the webinar.
Sure. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Perfect. So SpecFlowActions, basically what they are is a series of plugins and code examples that we created for people such as yourselves to basically be able to get started quicker with doing some certain trivial tasks. For example, if we go to SpecFlow.org, we can go to this Learn tab here, then down to code examples. This is our SpecFlowActions page. So the one in particular we're looking for is obviously Selenium today, but we've also written plugins for Playwright, Docker, Boa Constrictor, and they just make your life easier when you get into the code. So obviously, like for example, Selenium, there could be a bunch of kind of framework setup stuff that you go through before you start consuming it. We've kind of done that most of that heavy lifting for you. So I'm just going to quickly navigate to the GitHub repository where you can see all of our documentation. So following this webinar, if you want to find out a bit more about the ins and outs, we will cover this towards the end in a bit. But you can come here and find out all about the actions that we've come up with. Cool. So that's fine. We need to just quickly cover the application that we will be testing. Let me just grab the URL. Give me 2 seconds. Cool. So Selenium being a UI testing framework, we obviously need an application to test. So today, this is the application we'll be going to test. So as you can see, it's a simple calculator. You may have seen it before. I think Andy might have used it in some of the other webinars. But for the sake of demonstration, I mean, you can all see what it does. It calculates a result, and then we can reset the fields there. So that's going to be what we're testing today. So let's get into it. So we're going to launch Visual Studio, and we're going to create a new project. And I already have the SpecFlow extension installed in Visual Studio, so that's why I get this default template here. So we'll go ahead and use that. We'll call this one calculator.specs, and we'll just hit create. So I'm going to keep it as .NET Core 3.1 just for the sake of simplicity, and also use the runner. And I will include this Fluent Assertions library. For anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's a nice assertions library that's quite readable. So that's why we like using it here. So let's create this project. Sorry about the wait. Cool. So given that we've used the SpecFlow template, we have a bunch of, I guess, default files here. So we automatically get this calculator feature and this calculator step definitions here. But the first things we're going to need to do is actually install the plugin itself. And also we're going to need the Chrome driver executable in this project. So we can right click on the project, go to manage NuGet packages. We can browse the web here and just search for SpecFlowActions. So you can see all the other ones we've done, they're here. So like I said, if you want to have a look at those in your own time, feel free. So let's install this one first of all, which gives us access to all of the functionality that we've created here. And we also need Chrome driver. You can also use other drivers, Edge driver, Firefox driver, etc., etc. I'm just going to install this one here. Wait for that to finish. Cool. And I'm just going to quickly do a build here just to make sure everything checks out. Oh, and let me know also if I need to zoom in or anything like that. How does it look,
Okay.
Ali? Do I need to zoom in a little bit?
You probably have to zoom in. I can't see any code on the screen to tell you, but if
Yeah,
it's default, if it's by default, you probably have to zoom in. Yeah. Yeah,
no worries. When we get into a file, I'll zoom in. Cool. So let's create a new folder in here, and let's call this one page objects. Obviously, we need an object to represent our web page. So let's add a new file in here. We'll just right click on add a new class, and we'll call this simply calculate, not that. Call it calculator page. Cool. So now we need our calculator page to do something. So this is where we start to see SpecFlowActions working. So in this particular page class, I'm going to just create a constructor here. And we have an interface called iBrowser interactions. Good spell. And let's just resolve this quickly. So you can see here, this interface is resolving using SpecFlowActions Selenium. So if I control and dot on this, we should be able to just create and assign a field, browser interactions. Cool. And now we can actually start using this. So just for the sake of speed, I've gone through and created all of the references to the page elements here. So I'm just going to resolve this using the Selenium libraries. And have I mistyped? Oh, yes, it's because code styling rules. Oh, cool. Good. So I'll quickly just cover these. So these are all the page elements we're going to need access to. So you can see this is the page URL. This is the first number, second number, etc., etc. And using browser interactions, we're just calling this wait and return element. And then you pass in your by object to grab the iWeb element back, from the using that by object. So that's the first thing we see using the browser interactions class. So now we've got a bunch of different methods here. So I'm just, again, for the sake of simplicity, because it would probably take an age for me to type, I'm just going to copy and paste these in, but I'll talk through them. Excuse me. And I've copied the constructor again, so we can remove that. Cool. So it's worth mentioning that this gets injected into the constructor automatically. You don't need to create an instance of this interactions anywhere. You can just consume it as I have shown you. Just inject it straight into your whichever class you want to use it in, and it will resolve behind the scenes for you. So that's good news. So we've got a go-to method here, so we can go to the page, enter first number, enter second number, and all of it's pretty normal. You're probably mostly familiar with it. The only thing is, again, this send keys with clear and this click with retry. this is coming from another class that we've created called Web Element Extensions, and they're just a bunch of extension methods that we've kind of just created out of the box for you so you can quickly get started with kind of basic interactions. So again, you can read more about these in the docs, but they're the methods we're consuming within this class. And the only other interesting one is, so we have this has value, which basically just checks the value attribute of a particular element. And we also have this this wait until method, where you can pass in a method which gets the result and then the expected result. You can do a conditional check, and it will effectively just wait until that result is as you expect it to be. So that's also quite handy. Cool. So we've got our calculator page code now. So the next thing we need to do is go into our hooks, because we need to actually navigate to that particular web page. So we'll right click on hooks, add new item, and we can search for hooks. And we'll just call it hooks.cs. Cool. So let's get rid of this boilerplate stuff here because we just don't need it. Cool. And we're going to make use of the parameter injection feature in SpecFlow. So what we can do is we need access to our calculator page to navigate to this URL. So what we'll do is directly inject this into parameter here in the before scenario method. It's doing a horrible job, so let's just click on that and resolve this object. We'll call it calculator page, and again I'll do control dot, and that should give me not what I wanted. Oh, obviously it's not a constructor, so that's fine. So so now we can call the calculator page. There should be a go to URL or just go to method here, and that takes us straight to the site, and because obviously all the dependencies are resolved as the code executes, when it creates this calculator page instance, it also creates the browser interactions instance, and then up the chain, it also initializes the driver and does all that good stuff for you as well, which is cool. So the next thing we need to do is have a look at our step definition. So let's quickly whip over here. And I'm just, again, for the sake of time, going to slip through and copy and paste these, and then I'll talk through them. But anyone familiar with doing any UI testing using Selenium, this will be fairly normal for you. So again, we need to inject our page object into here. So again, calculator page. And we'll resolve this again. And we'll call it calculator page. And then we'll just generate this local field, and for the sake of it being consistent, we'll add an underscore there and here. Cool. So I'll talk through these steps. So obviously we need to enter a first number. So we've got given the first number is, and then a string parameter. Same for the second number. Same for clicking the reset button on the calculator, and also clicking the add button. And then we're checking the result, which we're using that wait for non-empty result method with the fancy wait in it. Also, we need to just resolve this fluent assertions. Cool. And then I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this, but when you do multiple assertions using fluent assertions, we have this assertion scope object. So we'll just resolve this too. And what this is for is basically you can assert multiple things without it basically exiting if the first assertion fails. So that's kind of cool and useful. So the last thing we need to do to get this up and running is we need to go and add a particular configuration in. So if we right click on the project and go add new item, and we'll look for JSON. We don't want to use a SpecFlow JSON file. We actually want to use just a JSON file. And the naming is particular. It needs to be SpecFlowActions.json. And this gets picked up behind the scenes and loaded in runtime. So we'll add that in there. And just to keep it simple for now, and I will expand on the configuration options at the end when we talk through the options that you have. We're just going to basically have this Selenium object here, and the browser will be Chrome for the sake of this. So we should be ready now. We've got everything we need. Let me just go to the feature. Okay, interesting. Okay, cool. So you can see that we've got this add two numbers. And the first number is 50, second is 70, and the result should be 120. So let's just do a quick build, make sure everything's happy. Cool. And I'm using the SpecFlow Plus runner. If you've not used it before and you try and execute your tests, what will happen is you'll get a message in the output window to suggest that you need to basically register. So you can click that link from the output window, register, and then you can come back to your IDE and continue the execution. We won't see that here because I've obviously registered previously. So let's run this and see what happens. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. But let's see. Hey, cool, good. Stuff to figure out, okay. So what have I missed? Okay, cool. I know what I've missed. So you need to go to properties for your JSON file once you've added it, and you need to set it as content, and then also copy if newer. And if we do a rebuild and re-execute, we should see that we actually get a test now, and we get a good result. So let's have another look. I do that every time, so it's worth keeping in mind that you need to set that to copy. So with any luck, we'll see the window open. Cool, we do. Good. Excellent, good stuff. So it's as simple as that to get started with this. We wanted to keep it nice and simple, so it literally is adding the package, adding your config, and then just consuming the class, and you can get started right away. The plugin will handle the lifetime of the browser for you. So, you can use dependency injection or parameter injection just to inject it wherever you need it. And all of the dependencies are resolved behind the scenes for you, which is super nice, and it keeps everything nice and clean inside of the project. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'd like to actually just showcase kind of the thread safety-ness of the package. So I'm just going to add another couple of tests here. Let me just clean this up. Cool. I'm just going to build this again. So now we've got two tests, one that does the addition and one that also checks for the fields and that they're cleared. So if you want to run the runner in parallel, we need to add another file. And that is called SRProfile, and that stands for SpecRunProfile, as you can imagine. And we'll call it default SRProfile because that's what it's looking for out of the box. If you name it anything differently, then you have to specify that in the run settings file and then specify your run settings file. So if you're only planning to run it in a certain way, then I would recommend just calling it default. So I'll set this to 2 because we've got 2 tests. Also, any more than sort of 4 on a low-powered machine can really tax the CPU. So I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you're running in a CI/CD pipeline where you can really take advantage of the parallel execution. So I will just execute these. So we should see now, both windows appear and they both get disposed of. And the good thing is none of the code treads on each other's toes. It's all thread safe and above board. So that's super cool. So we should see 2 browser windows. And we did, and they both passed in 7.6 seconds, which is awesome. And now what I'll do is I'll just quickly show you how easy you can configure the browser in here. So common use case, for example, is say running in headless mode. So let me just copy and paste this in here. and build. So you can see here, it's basically just a string array of arguments that you can pass in, much like you would do into the command line, or if you're doing it inside of the code directly on the driver. So I'll just demonstrate that again to make sure you can see that it all works. So this time we're not expecting to see any browser, of course. Cool, so you can see they're executing simultaneously. We should just get the same result again, but obviously without the UI, and we do. Cool. Ali, that was super quick.
Yeah, it was pretty quick, but we've got two questions that are kind of related to the parallel execution that you just showcased. So
okay,
first one is how parallel execution will work from two similar feature files. I'm not sure.
I mean, so I'm not sure what it is you're asking specifically, but what I can tell you is that if you have multiple feature files, they basically just get batched by tests, so they don't run at feature level. If say you've got 50 tests and you've got 10 threads, it will just execute 10 tests at a time. It doesn't matter which feature they're coming from. It just batches them through. So I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Okay, yeah, but maybe if you not, can elaborate a bit more so we can answer that one. Cool. And another question was, can you run in parallel on class level? So scenarios one by one, features in parallel.
No, it's just, it literally is. So say you've got 50 tests. I mean, you can specify in the runner like a particular trait, for example. If you've got a tag, you could tag them all and selectively test that way. But out of the box, if you just hit test, it will execute all of your tests in as many threads as it can at once. So you can use tags and things and traits. You know, you can pass those things into the command line or via your CI/CD pipeline. So you can selectively do it, but not specifically by class, unless you filter out by class, if that makes sense.
Cool. Got a question here. It's in chat though. It says, does SpecFlowActions work with only with SpecFlow runner, or can I use other runners like NUnit, MS Test?
Yeah, that's a good question. It doesn't matter. You can use any test framework you like. So you can use NUnit, XUnit, MS Test, whatever you fancy, you can use it with. It's not a problem.
Cool. Got one more. What if I cancel test execution? Does all initialized stuff, such as chrome.exe, chrome driver.exe process, are disposed gracefully?
Yeah, it should do.
Okay.
Yep. So what happens is after the test execution is finished, behind the scenes, there's things that get executed to make sure that everything gets disposed of nicely, essentially. So nothing is left behind that doesn't need to be running. Cool. So that's it for questions for now, is it? Because I'll go and talk a little bit about the repo if you want.
Yeah, go on. We can answer them later.
Yeah, cool. We'll leave some for the end. Cool. So let's just have a quick look here. So I said I would elaborate a little bit more about how you can configure it. Mm-hmm. So again, just to reiterate, if you want to see any of this stuff, you can come to the repository and go to SpecFlowActions, and you can see all the code. Obviously, it's all open source. We've included project examples, so you can clone the repository, download the examples and execute them for yourself and have a look. And obviously, Ali's written some good documentation here just to help you navigate through and get started, and it should hopefully explain things for you nicely. So included features. So as I mentioned, we deal with all of the lifetime handling of the browser. And again, everything gets disposed of, everything gets cleaned up nicely. And it's also thread safe, as you've seen. These are the 4 browsers that we support, and all you need to do is specify those in your configuration. So you could say, for example, you wanted Internet Explorer Edge, you could just say Edge. And as long as you have the Edge driver installed on the machine, then everything will just fire up for you. No dramas. So here's some more of the configuration. So you can see here, this is a little bit more fleshed out. So you can add capabilities. You can set your timeouts and things. Everything gets assigned to the driver in our SpecFlowActions package from here. And all of the kind of more common configuration things are in here, so you can easily just add them into your JSON config and just click test and everything's good to go for you. So this talks a little bit about the browser interactions class. And one other thing I did want to touch on actually is you might be thinking, for example, that we've kind of locked you in to injecting this particular class, this browser interactions class. Let me just flick back here, this one here. But that's not the case. We have also publicly exposed the class where you can see the driver. So you can also inject the browser driver into a class where you could come up with your own functionality and your own implementations. So we didn't want to restrict people into just what we provided, but what you do still get by injecting the browser driver directly into another class is you still get the lifetime handling of the browser and all of the thread safety stuff. So like I say, you can just consume this directly through your constructor injection and then create your own custom implementation for how you want to do things with using the driver. So that's super cool as well. I can see a couple of questions, Ali. Do you want
to? Yep. So one is around, do we have an action today to retry a failed test? Is that something you can showcase now?
Yep. So let's make something fail. Well, actually, that's not. Let's just go and show you where you can configure it. So in your, so this is only with the SpecFlow runner. You can see here, we've got this execution tag attribute. So we have stop after failures 3. I'm just going to need to go back to, I think the attribute is called retries. Let me just go to the docs here quick. But yes, you can retry as many times as you want. Let's see, execution. Retry 4, that's it. So if we add this tag in, sorry, it's here, retry count. Cool. So let's just quickly bump this in to the project. And this is it is what it says it is. So you can retry a maximum of 3, 4, 5, whatever you want times. And this one here will basically stop after an overall failure count. So don't get confused between those. They don't kind of tread on each other. But let's make one fail quickly. Let's just say, let's say true should be false. So obviously this is going to fail because true is never going to be false. And let's just build this and then we'll run it. And you should see that it executes 3 times, hopefully. Okay, that was fast. What have I done? Have I broke? Oh, of course, sorry. I've changed the, that's why. Let's get rid of this Chrome argument as well. Sorry, the headless argument, and let's build it again, sorry, so you can actually see what's happening. So because I had the Edge driver in there specified, it's looking for the Microsoft WebDriver exe, and obviously it didn't exist because I don't have it installed. So here's one, it should fail and then rerun, which it does. And then a third time it should run and fail, and that will be all because we've just specified 3 retries. There you go, perfect. So you can see, if I just shimmy this up here, so you can see we've executed a total of 4 times now, but each time it executes, you can see the error message or the stack trace for each execution. So you can see here there's a retry 1 and the result, retry 2 and the result. And then, sorry, I'll probably zoom in a little bit here. Oh, I can't zoom in on that window, that's not helpful. But either way, you can see retry 3 here also. And you can do that as many times as you feel necessary, basically. So if you've got a few flaky tests or something, run them a couple of times. And you can also take so you can say, for example, if the test passes twice and fails once, you can also tell the test runner to show a pass for that kind of scenario. But if you want to read more about that, you can also have a look in the docs under here, and you can see how to configure all that stuff. So
cool.
I hope
paste that link for everyone. Yeah, pretty good. Thanks, Jordan. So while we're at this retry thing, this question got a vote as well on how to have the retry with NUnit plus SpecFlow. Do you happen to know?
I don't know. So
okay.
I know you can do some
enough.
form of parallel execution. So I don't know how you can do it from the IDE. I do know you can do it from like CI/CD pipeline. So you can use the VS test task in your, say, Azure pipeline, for example, and you can specify a number of retries there. So that's all I have to say, and I'm afraid I don't know how you can do it from the IDE. I'm sure there maybe is a way, but I'm not sure.
Cool. What about logging while parallel test execution?
Logging to where?
I am not sure.
So say for example, so I think we have also a library that helps you log to this console, and it just works the same as it does with synchronous execution. So, or I don't know what you call it, stepped execution or normal execution. Yeah, it works the same way. So however you do it today, it'll make no difference.
Cool. Can we configure the runner to test multiple browsers with the test set?
Yes, you can. I think there's some documentation on this. I've never done it personally. I think it's under targets. Yes, it is targets. So what you can basically do is your filter, for example, is your tag. So you can have a tag on your test, and then each filter is related to a particular target. Is there any more in here? Yeah, so effectively, I don't know where it is specifically on here at the moment, but maybe it's in here. Yeah, you can have different targets that target, like here. So for example, you can see here, we've got these different targets, and it will execute those tests on those browsers specifically. Yeah, I've never used it, but I know you can do it. So again, take a look at the documentation. There's this nice example here in Selenium web test. I can paste this into the chat so you can take a look. Here you go. Cool. You can have a look at that. And also I would recommend diving into the documentation as well, because I think it explains it better there somewhere. So
cool. One of the participants is asking about our browser stack integration. Okay,
cool. So yeah, we also do have another action called SpecFlow.Actions browser stack. So we're actually we're holding off on doing a webinar on that one, just because we've reached out to browser stack to do kind of a bit of collaboration on that. So it should be coming, I'd say, maybe within the next month or so. But yeah, look out for that one because it won't be too much longer.
Awesome. So yeah, something to look forward to. Okay, so another question here. Does this also work for Windows clients instead of Selenium Appium? I
don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really know what a Windows client is, so apologies. But we can look it up. We can look it up.
Cool. Does it support Selenium Grid? Don't know what it is in this sentence, but
I'm guessing the plugin. So all that we do in the plugin is provide an easy way for you to get started with Selenium and doing your UI tests. Anything after that is up to you. So it's basically this. It's the same as your normal setup for Selenium, apart from we've just done the hard work for you and made it more simple for you to get started with it. So it's flexible.
Cool. Thanks, Jordan. For the wait until feature, where can you set the time? Does it wait long enough for temporarily hidden elements?
So you can set I think it comes from the config. Let me just check. What am I doing with my life? Here, cool. Sorry, wait until. Yes, it would. Yeah. So basically, it takes the default timeout from the configuration. So do I still have it open? Somewhere. Scroll up. Yeah. So this default timeout here is your timeout. And then this is a polling interval. Sorry. So this is how long it actually waits before probing the web element again. So yes, it does work based on your default timeout. And I think I can't remember what we set it to if you don't provide this value. I would suggest it's probably 30. It'll be in here somewhere, so you can have a look through the code. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, seems. This one's in the chat. Are there any other challenges to look for within the latest .NET Core? The participant noticed that you use .NET Core 3.1, but if it's the latest one, is there any difference?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Cool. Sweet. That's good. Is there an open GitHub repo where this plugin action is used in a full-fledged suite of tests? Yeah.
So there's an example here. But it doesn't contain a lot, but you can obviously clone this and just extend it because everything's kind of there. It does exactly the same thing as what we've just done, pretty much. I think it might be configured slightly differently, but so if we click into the feature, for example, yeah, there's just a bunch of, kind of boilerplate tests, but you can take it, extend it, play with it, do whatever you want with it to see if it works for you. So.
Cool.
I'll share the link to this.
Yeah.
Again, so.
Yeah, I've got it there, but yeah, maybe to that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can share it again. Doesn't hurt. Yep. So how can we create report for SpecFlow plus .NET Core .NET Core 3.1 framework by using .NET Test Runner? Create report.
Let me just open the Q&A window so I can see.
Yeah, how can we create report for SpecFlow plus .NET Core 3.1 framework by using .NET Test Runner? So
you should. So I'm not sure if you're talking about running these like from the .NET Test Runner from the command line or what, but either way, any runner that executes the tests, if the SpecFlow Plus is in there, then you can generate your normal test reports. So if we look in the output, you should see that we get this report file. Let me just open this. So this should always generate regardless of how you're externally invoking those tests, because this happens behind the scenes in the runner. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. If not, maybe just
maybe elaborate a bit. Yeah, thanks for that. When adding attachments, we'll be able. Okay, so will there be an attachment in SpecFlow Runner in a way that we will be available in the CI/CD tools test run results like NUnit does? So what I can tell everyone is that we are not going to be developing the SpecFlow Runner any further. So I don't think there will be any new features going to be added to it anytime soon. So
you can,
I think you can add attachments.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you can. I think you can. I'm trying to remember what the what's it called?
External data plugin?
No, I don't think it's that. It's hang on, it might be under here. Execution. Yeah, so there is a way. What's this decorators here? No, I can't find it. But there is a way you can attach documents already. I forget for the life of me what the class is called. But yeah, you can basically attach documents. So say, for example, in your output window, if you want to, I don't know, a link to a screenshot or something, or some particular file. Say if you're using some test data from an external resource, you can add that in here, or you can add plain text, whatever you want. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can do that already. So
yeah,
and it will appear in the report as well.
We got a chat message that it says it attaches, but the attachment is not available in Azure afterwards. So
is it sounds like it could be like a file hosting issue, because it's only a link to a file. So it's probably that the file doesn't exist on any resource that it links to, or something like that.
So SpecFlow Living Doc, does that work in combination with the actions, with the SpecFlowActions? And of course it does.
Yes. Yeah. So it's
what we just showcased, what Jordan just showcased, is that it doesn't stop Living Doc from generating, as long as you have tests running and you have your test results, and you have Living Doc installed, and you run the commands either from Azure or from the CI tool. It will generate Living Doc. So.
Yeah. So Living Doc is completely agnostic of anything. So effectively, as long as you get your test execution.json and you've got tests in your assembly, then Living Doc will work. We don't even need test execution results. You just need tests in an assembly. So it's completely agnostic of one another. It doesn't have any dependency at all. So.
Yep. So do you natively support tests for downloading a file in the browser driver or browser interactions maybe?
No. No, is a simple answer.
Yeah.
So it's worth mentioning that obviously this is all open source. So if anyone wants to add anything, feel free to just take the code and update it, change it, add some things you think might be useful, and just open a pull request. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Question about the webinar recording. Yep, it will be on our YouTube page by the end of the week.
So we'll also send it out, so you'll get a certificate for attendance of this webinar, and you'll also get the links to the recording.
Yeah, there'll be a follow-up email after.
Probably Friday. It'll probably come. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, end of the week is the plan. Yeah, awesome. Do we have to wait until this works with .NET Core? I guess that's the question.
Oh no, does wait and yeah.
It does wait until okay with .NET Core.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Are there plans to expand on available actions? That is a good question.
Am I still sharing? I'm still sharing, right?
Yes, you are.
Cool. So let me just go to SpecFlow.org, because maybe, in fact, let's go to the community forum a second. So yes, so everything we've had ideas for can be found in, sorry, that was probably a bit quick. But SpecFlow, go to SpecFlow.org and then go to the community option. I'll just go back because I know it's fast. Go to the community forum. And then you can see the SpecFlowActions section here. So give that a click. And these are all the list of actions that are on our radar. So I'll probably be working on these fairly soon, adding some more in. And you can see the ones that have already been completed as well. And of course, if you've got any ideas, then just add a new post. Because effectively, if people upvote your idea, then chances are we'll select that one next because it's the most popular. So yes, and also it's worth saying that anyone can also contribute to these too. So.
Yeah, open source. We want to work on stuff that is valuable to our community. You can either vote on these, bring a new idea, or even contribute to it. So all three of those things, we would be super happy with it. Okay, so this one maybe don't have time for it, but I'll just click on it for you.
The copy of Newer, Yes. So I think you mean okay. So I think you're talking about the file option. So if you go to your Solution Explorer window, so sorry for everyone else. The question is where copy if newer setting to update the browser can be selected. So if you, on your configuration file, if you right click on it and go to properties, you'll see this build action and this copy to output directory. So you need to just set it to content and then copy if newer. So if you update the content in there, then only it will make a copy into the bin folder effectively. So it'll only pick up the changes if you've made a change. So I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Jordan. Can you show in detail how Assertion Scope works?
Yes. Let's do something here. Okay, so let's set this to false. And let me just grab another assertion out of here for a second. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, so first things first, I will just copy this out. So what we expect then to happen in this then step is that it will execute this first assertion, and because we know it should be true, it will return false, and then the execution should stop because the assertion's finished. So this assertion should never execute. Okay, so let's show that. And basically wrapping it in the assertion scope tells the Fluent Assertions library that you basically want to do more than one assertion, regardless of whether that assertion fails or passes. You want to assert them all. So there you go. Oh, hang on 2 seconds. We've got it running 3 times because it's failing. Okay, cool. So what you'll see is expected calculator page, first number is empty to be false but found true. So we never even see the result for the second assertion. Okay. So let's just comment this out. We'll uncomment this. So the first one's false, but it should be true. So this one should fail, but the rest of the assertions should pass. So let me just build this quickly. And just re-execute it. I'm going to just toggle off the retry count because it's annoying. So now this time we should see that we have 3 assertions in the output, not just one. I hope. Okay. Oh, okay. So because the first one's failed, it only reports the failure. So say, for example, a better way of showing you this would be to have 2 failures, or in fact 3, because they all should get reported. Sorry, this is a bit clumsy, I know. But... So this time I'm expecting to see that we have multiple failed assertions reporting back in the output. So, and it's running it 3 times because I guess there we go. Cool. You can see it already. So there you go. So if you're doing more than one assertion, you kind of have to use the assertion scope. Otherwise, if one fails, then it will basically fall out. The execution will stop. But with the assertion scope, it will continue to check your other assertions. And then you get a true result basically from and you can see exactly what's not working, because it's annoying if, for example, one thing fails, you don't get to see if the others are still failing or not. And then you could fix that assertion or fix the issue and then run the test again. And actually the next one's broken too. So let's just make sure you get to see all of the results before the execution stops.
Awesome. Thanks for showing that, Jordan. The same participant is asking, will assertion scope work with the extent reports?
I'm not even sure I know what an extent report is. Do you,
me neither. No.
We'll get back to you on that one.
I was quizzing you, see if you know. But yeah, sorry, we don't know what that is. I think that was the last question. And
I'm going to suggest it will do, because the message that gets logged is just a message, right? So I'm guessing any report that gets picked up will just pick up any kind of output, right? So yeah, I think any report should just pick up. It shouldn't have any shouldn't be tied to anything really, other than the results of the test and any kind of text or logs or anything. So it'll probably work, but we'll check.
Cool. I guess we don't need to go through a Q&A session. We answered all the questions.
We did. We did. Yeah. I didn't realize it would be so quick.
Yeah, no, it's good. We got good questions. I just saw one more pop up. I guess the only part that won't work is the screen captures in extent reports. Probably.
I mean, is that a limiting? version 5 extended. Oh, there you go. Someone's
Okay. So we have an answer for you, the extend reports. To whoever asked for extend reports, with version 5 of extend reports, they made it commercial. Try report portal instead.
There you go. We should hire this guy.
Yeah. Thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, we don't know what neither of those are. So yeah, it's use them at your own risk.
Yes, Jason, we'll send the recording to everyone.
I closed the chat. Is that another chat? Yeah. Recording will be out. Thanks for the great question.
We've got another poll.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me launch the next poll while you can stop sharing while I share my screen again.
Sorry,
and I will launch the poll while that happens. So yeah, last poll, 2 easy questions. Are you interested in this plugin? And what other plugins would you like to see? So it's a multiple choice, the second one. Let's get some answers from everyone. All right, yeah, I got it there. All right, I'll see if I can share my screen. I'll share this screen.
Oh, some good variation. Oh, and everyone so far is interested in the plugin, which is super cool.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Everyone had a glimpse of my beautiful desktop as well. Yeah, I swear I'm a very organized person.
God knows what horrors could have been lurking there.
Okay, so everyone was interested in this. Awesome, that's good news. And let me end the poll. Maybe give it 10 more seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll end the poll now. Thanks for everyone that participated. So we've got, all right, so what's the highest percentage here? 46% Appium.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
Yeah, that's good info to have. And followed by Windows App Driver and PDF that I did not think would be this popular.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. Didn't we?
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. I'm like, who's going to ask for that? But I was wrong.
I've just pasted a link in the chat. So for anyone that voted, please go and upvote. The one that you've selected or the one you're most interested in, because it ultimately will affect which one we pick up next. So for example, Appium's got 46%. Go and spread your votes, because we'll be picking these up shortly. So
yeah, let me share the results with everyone so everyone can see it. Yeah, if they're not on the community forum, you can add them in as well. Or if they're already there, just vote for them. That's our YouTube channel. That's our community forum that we already linked in the chat. SpecFlowActions and the repos, everything is also linked in the chat already. I hope everyone can see and go to those and check them out. Anything from you to add, Jordan?
No, I think just just let us know how you get on using these. We're always welcome to feedback. Please feel free to contribute as well. It's open source. Take it, have a play around with it, extend it, do whatever you like with it to try it out. And yeah, just I guess more stuff on this coming very soon. So
yeah, awesome. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you, everyone. I guess we got a few minutes to go, but we are. Thanks everyone for joining. And
is there another Q&A? Can you share the result? Oh no.
Is it? Oh.
No, I think it was shared.
Nah, all good.
Cool. Thanks everyone for joining.
Oh yeah, I didn't share it, I think. Sorry, guys.
Hope to see you in the next one.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Thanks everyone. Bye.